Welcome to Haxby Shed. An amazing thing has happened. The channel has now got more than 2,500 subscribers. And in the time-honoured tradition, I'm going to do a prize draw. Now, I don't have any tools to give away, but what I can give away is one of these amazing Haxby Shed mugs. Now, I don't sell these. I just had a few made for friends and family. As far as I know, the logo is glazed on, and I've put it through the dishwasher quite a number of times, not this one of the others, and it's been absolutely fine. But other than that, it comes with absolutely no warranty. Now, if you want to be included in the prize draw, leave me a comment. We'll put your name on one of the tickets. We'll draw it out of here. If you win, I'll be in touch, I'll get your address and I'll send it off. I think this video will go out in the early hours of Friday the 8th of April in this time zone, so it might be Thursday for you, and then we will let it run for 2 weeks. After that we'll close the competition and I'll invite one of my family to make the prize draw. For the rest of this video I'll show you some measuring tools and also some curiosities that I got from the Auto Jumble, which I hope you'll find interesting. I want to show you this. It's made by Mercer, and it's actually an inspection stand where somebody has made this, and here we've got a Morse Taper 2 shaft and we've got a chuck in it at the moment. And I was round at my friend Tony's and he said, "Oh, do you want this?" And I said, "No, I don't know that I'd have a use for it." And he said, "Well, it'll probably go to scrap." And I think he was teasing me because straight away I said, "No, you aren't doing that. I love it. I love it." So it's got this really nice chuck, which I've just slipped in there. And I use that on my big pillar drill press. And it runs perfectly true, unlike the Morse Taper 3 and Morse Taper 4 chucks I've got. But if I take these off, I've still got the original holder for the dial test indicator. And the idea is that manufacturing operatives would inspect manufactured parts against this base and just check, quality check them. Now, it came with this 1/10 gauge, but unfortunately it's lost its dial. But you can see the insides are very nice. Don't know if that will focus for you. It's a lovely little unit, but it's just unfortunately a bit battered. Some of the paint's come off the face. So I've been looking for another gauge, and I was at the Auto Jumble and I saw this lovely clear Mercer gauge. Don't know if the light's on that. And I paid £8 for it. It's a Type 11. It's only a 1/1000 gauge rather than a 1/10 gauge. But the important thing for me is it's got the offset screw positions, which means it will fit directly onto this. Although the screw sizes are slightly different. They're smaller screws on this one than we've got on this one. Anyway, as you can imagine, the gauge just goes on there. So I'm going to restore this a little bit and keep it near my surface plate, probably just down by the bottom of the bench there. And whilst we're talking Mercer, I'll just highlight this dial test indicator stand, so you can see how it's got a T-slot top and bottom. You get the idea, right? And I saw this for £40 at the Auto Jumble, and I said, "Well, I'll give you 25. I mean, whether it's worth 25, I have no idea. I just saw it and I wanted it. And all I've done with it really is to hang the Haxby Shed sign on it. And I also used it for holding my TIG torch in a fixed position while I was trying to heat up. You saw it on the welding rotator perhaps. But one day I will find a proper use for it. It's a nice thing. I saw it in a catalogue, a Mercer catalogue, 1925. So I think it's quite old. Just an artefact that brightens up the shed, perhaps. measuring these screws then, the ones for this dial, the 10th gauge, they look like 7BA because they're reading 0.096 inches. And the other screws, trust me, are reading 0.086. So these will be 7BA, and these little ones for this gauge will be 8BA. I have managed to find one amongst my pile of brass bits that might do, but I need a couple more. See if I can find those on eBay. My 8BA screws have arrived. I was just wondering what the guy who made this might have had in mind, and I was watching Steve on Shark River Machine, and he'd made a tapping stand from an old drill base. So maybe that was what he was thinking about. Well, we'll give it a go. This is just a 3/16 Whitworth tap. And this hole in this brass piece of rod here is already threaded. So this is just kind of like for demo purposes. Overall, Tony, this is a very useful thing, so thanks again. Quick report. Been to the Auto Jumble again this morning, my monthly fix. I got these 3 pieces of copper tube. £10, don't know why, I'll use them for a project sometime, they just looked attractive to me. These 2 reamers, 10 and 12mm, £1 each, Morse Taper 1. This Argon flow meter, £4. This part I already had, but you can see I'm setting up a line splitter so that I can have a flow meter for purge gas and flow meter for welding gas. And then I bought this trepanning tool, which I'll show you a bit more of in a second, to replace this useless thing that I've had for years and recently proved that it's a waste of space. This sheet trepanning tool is quite interesting. It's got brazed on cutting tips. This drill is more like a masonry drill with an insert. On the end of this bar we've got these screws. I don't know if they're just to make it look smarter or whether it was intended something would screw on. The rest of it is quite straightforward apart from this part here where you've got a tightening screw going this way for unscrewing and a spring. Well, the spring only rests on here, ends there. So I don't know what the spring was meant to do. I'll have to do a bit of research to find out what the whole thing looked like when it was new and all together. But still, potentially a very useful tool for me, cutting discs out of a big plastic sheet or a thin metal sheet, something like that. It's pretty sturdy. You can just see the brazed in tip there. So sooner or later these bits are going to be used, and these 3 will go into stock. The car boot items you just saw I bought way back last November, and it's now April. But these items I bought just yesterday. So there was a 9mm machine tap. I've got various machine taps. I didn't have a 9, and I recently had to do some work on some Brembo brakes, and they had a 9mm thread screw hole in them, so this was useful, and I paid 50p for that. And then I bought this V-block made by W.J. Bilton and Sons Co. Limited, Croydon. And although it's a bit chewed up, it only cost me 1 coffee. So the universal unit of currency in Haxby Shed is the coffee, because everybody in the world knows how much a coffee costs. So this was 1 coffee and this was 1 coffee. We'll come on to this in a minute. Now, some time ago, I bought some of these clamps as a pure speculation, and I paid £1 each, and I was hoping that one would fit, but they don't. These are rounded at the bottom anyway, so, you know, I thought it was a bit of a long shot. But still, I don't have any V-blocks at all. So, for the price of a coffee, it's a little bit chewed at the edges, but otherwise, you know, it's a nice piece. You can't do so much with a single V-block, but anyway, you've got to start somewhere. And the thread in it here and there is 1/4 BSF, 26 TPI. And if you don't know BSF, well, think about UNF, that would be 28 TPI. So it's slightly not quite as fine as UNF. Now we come on to this. Now here it's Morse Taper 2. And at this end, well, it says that it's Clarkson Taper Fast 2532. And I was hoping that I could use it with this annular cutter, because I'm still looking for a holder for this cutter, and I don't want to pay £30. Well, it sort of fits, but because this is tapered inside, it's not going to work really. I've looked up online for more detail on these Clarkson Taper Fast fittings. Well, I can find detail on a collet fitting made by Clarkson called Clarkson Auto Lock collets. I cannot find any reference to Clarkson Taper Fast. So, you know, if you know what these are or what fits in it, will you let me know please in a comment? I imagine it's a short stubby taper and this is for the drift to take it out, but I just can't find any detail on it at all. So I could have wasted a coffee on this, but it's only a coffee. I'll be back next month to see what else they've got at the Auto Jumble. It's the first Saturday of every month. Anyway, I hope those were interesting for you, and thanks for watching Haxby Shed. Right, okay. Yeah, you're relaxed, yeah? You're relaxed. It's all right, because I don't have to use this bit. I'm just doing stuff, right? Don't look at your toe, you know? Right. Anyway, you two, have you heard that Haxby Shed has got 2,500 subscribers? That's 2,500 people who like Haxby Shed. And because of that, we're going to have a competition, all right? And for this competition, we're going to give away this Haxby Shed mug, yeah? And so anybody that wants to be in the competition will tell me through their comments, and then we're going to put their name on this list here. So in this list, we haven't got anybody written on the list yet, but like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick, I'm going to ask one of my family, I don't know who it's going to be yet, we're going to pick a number out of here, and then the number we pick will be the one that wins. So do you want to pick one first? Pick one out then, and tell me what number's on it.
1.
1? Okay. Well, do you want to pick one out? And tell me what number's on that one.
1.
Well, put it back. Put it back. Right, pick another one. Pick another one. What number's on that?
1.
1? Something's going wrong here. Well, we'll have to do it properly for the real thing, won't we? Okay. Well, wave goodbye. There you are. Turn it off now. There you go.